What's up, addicts? Welcome to the Fantasy Addiction Network. In this video, we're going to be breaking down the fantasy outlook of Matthew Stafford, quarterback for the Detroit Lions heading into 2020. Before we get started, hit that subscribe button for us, and let's get right into it. Now, last year was a very incredible start for Matthew Stafford through the first 9 weeks of the season, first 8 games. He was averaging 21.4 fantasy points per game, was on a trajectory to come close to throwing 5,000 passing yards, sixth most points per game amongst quarterbacks at that point in the season, and then suffers a back injury that keeps him out for the remainder of the year. So, that leaves a bit of ambiguity heading into 2020. He is still incredibly cheap, so most likely going to be a value. Definitely have to be a little bit concerned. Back injuries do tend to hinder production and linger a bit. So not just going to throw that out there, not expecting him to have a fully healthy season and pick up where he left off. But if the offense is going to look anything like it did last year, still being able to get a guy like Matthew Stafford in the double-digit rounds of your draft right now is still proving, again, why you need to wait on quarterback in single quarterback leagues as long as you can. So, finishing last year with nearly 2,500 passing yards, playing only half of the season, 19 passing touchdowns, only 5 interceptions, and again, obviously missing 8 games with that back fracture. In the course of the season, he had 3 poor performances and then plenty of very high-rated performances that you were happy starting him, including one top 3 finish at the position in Week 7 against Minnesota. Clearly a value, especially considering last year you were able to draft him around the same spot. So pretty much the biggest concern right now is how bad is the back injury? Is it going to hinder him any further? Is he going to have any complications that keep him from being able to play at the same rate? And also, do we trust that Matt Patricia will allow the offense to go back to a similar structure of what we saw in 2019? Obviously, spending a high pick on DeAndre Swift could lead to them wanting to run the ball a little bit more, but DeAndre Swift is more of a pass-catching back anyway, so could actually lead to even more production for Matthew Stafford. So this is a very bipolar opinion of Matthew Stafford, but for the price that you can get him for right now, an incredible value. Looking last year, he had 6.9 deep ball attempts per game, which was number 2 in the NFL. His deep ball accuracy still among the top half of the league at 38.2%. Had a 6.5% touchdown rate. That will likely come down, finishing at number 4. That looks to be a stat that will regress slightly. Finished with a 107.9 true passer rating, which was 6th best in the NFL. Adjusted yards per attempt of 8.6, slinging it deep down the field, number 2 in the NFL. High production premium at plus 19, and a protection rate last year that was pretty bad at 80.5%. They made a few shifts to their offensive line. Hopefully, this offensive line will be a little bit better in pass protection and especially in run protection, both stats in which they were below average last year. So we're not expecting the Lions defense to really be that good at all. They did make some investments to try to shore it up, but they lost Darius Slay. So not really expecting their defense to be any better than it was last year, and it was near the bottom of the league last year as well. So there's going to be plenty of room and opportunity for the Lions to continue to have to score points. In a redraft league, I mean, Matthew Stafford is just continually ignored and is going to end up winning a lot of people championships this year. We have him projected a little bit lower than it was last year, again expecting a little bit of regression in the touchdown department and also in his passing yards per game, but 4,352 passing yards definitely in his range of outcomes near his floor. 30 passing touchdowns to 10 interceptions seems pretty reasonable. That puts him at about 289.2 fantasy points. It does not give you the upside of a rushing quarterback, but basically is a cheaper version of what we expect Matt Ryan to be. Obviously, this is another year for Kenny Golladay to continue to improve. Marvin Jones is still there as well. Hopefully, TJ Hawkinson takes another step forward, and if DeAndre Swift is able to add an explosive element out of the backfield in ways of his pass-catching prowess, this could be an incredible season for Matthew Stafford. So we really like him a lot this year, and want to give you guys a lot of confidence in drafting him. I'm a little more hesitant to draft him in best ball just because of the potential of that back injury flaring up. But in a redraft league, if you can take a guy like Matthew Stafford and couple him with a high upside guy like a Daniel Jones in rounds like 10 through 12, then I don't really see why that strategy shouldn't be the optimal this year, especially when you saw how well Matthew Stafford was producing last year. This offense is going to be expected to be doing some of the same things because their defense is not going to be doing them any favors. And I mean, I doubt the Lions will end up being a dark horse playoff team, but that offense will at least keep them in plenty of games. Matthew Stafford is just criminally disrespected in the fantasy community year in, year out. Really like him a lot this year. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below as well. Hit me up there, and then also hit that subscribe button for more videos like this one, and we will see you guys in the next video.